This is the future.
Digital Extremes confirmed during the Summer Game Fest 2022 live stream that the next big update for Warframe this year will be at last Duviri Paradox, the sentient open world that was teased years ago, and had us thinking what the hell happened to our space kids when the trailer showcased adult versions of our operator. We now know that we will get more answers about the Entrati family from Deimos, and who is the real identity of the man in the wall. We will also get some answers about what is exactly the Void in Warframe, and more lore about the Orokin faction, how they rose to power, how they created an empire to rule them all, and how they have fallen because of this. Questions will be answered during TennoCon 2022 about some parts of the laws in Warframe, but there's one question that keeps bugging me right now, and that is what exactly are we getting from the Duviri Paradox update? What are the features? And more specifically, what kind of game are we getting from Warframe this time? I think I have some hints on what possibly it will be, and let's try to discuss it. Before we start, I would like to thank the sponsor of this video, Raid Shadow Legends. I want to take a moment to talk about the super tough content, the Doom Tower. This huge tower is basically a giant prison. To climb to the top, you're going to need an army of champions. The regular tower might be easy with a strong team, but the bosses are tough that you need a specialist champion for the job. A couple of bosses need specific mechanics to beat them, like the Scarab King, which don't take damage unless you reduce his max HP, and if you attack him without a shield buff on, he'll wreck your whole team really fast. Aside from challenging content, there's a ton happening in Raid this month. Take for example the new event for the summer solstice. It's called the Path of Light, and you'll be able to explore 3 branching paths to get the rewards you want the most. On top of that, there's some awesome new champions coming out and a set of skins for the amazing Trundergilt mullet. And there's the Deliana Chase event that gives you one of the strongest support in the game, Deliana. All you have to do is log in and play Raid for 7 days between now and July 20, and you'll get Deliana for free. The gifts keep coming, all new players. Once you're in game, just enter promo code MyDeliana to get your hands on ton of silver and 50 XP brews to instantly get your legendary hero Deliana to max level 50. This is the best time to get started in Raid, and if you click my link in the description or scan my QR code here on the screen, you will not only help the channel, but you will get unique bonuses worth $30. We're talking a free epic champion, Vergus, 200k silver, 1 energy refill and 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in game. All this treasure will be waiting for you here, and it's that easy. Just click the link in the description, and I'll see you in the game. Okay, so I have tried to dig further, discuss some stuff with my friends, and put the pieces together from what I saw and hear about the Duviri Paradox. We all know that with every big update, Digital Extremes' mindset is to bring something new to the game. Earlier, I asked the question, what kind of game will we be seeing this year in Warframe, because as a long-time player, you know that Warframe is somehow composed of different games that are strung together. The evolution of Warframe to a different genre started when they have released the Plains of Eidolon, which is their first open world. It was something different, and a whole new experience for the players of Warframe. But it became stale when they continued the open world trend and released Fortuna. They made a comeback, and made Warframe interesting again when they introduced to us the Railjack system wherein we can build our spaceship, but it was a bumpy ride because of the buggy release. The Empyrean update would be great if Digital Extremes did not rush it, fixed the bugs, and somehow did a test server before releasing it. Since then, Warframe evolved into something, as the developer added new features that somehow we saw from other games. They have also added the Nemesis system in the form of Sisters of Parvos and Kuvaliches, which we saw from Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, but other stuff are unique to Warframe, like the Helminth system, which we can draw power from other Warframes and put into a different frame. I mean, I'm sure down the line, some of you have seen the same concept is probably one of the games you have played, but all I'm saying is, Digital Extremes are bringing something new to Warframe when a big update comes. And, I think we will see something new again during the Duviri Paradox update. The question is, what kind of feature will they be bringing with this new update? What do you mean, squad leader? So, what if Duviri Paradox is not your ordinary open world Warframe experience? What if It won't have the same aspect as fishing, mining, conservation, and even the usual big boss fights wherein we bring our best operator and Warframe. What if there's no Warframe in this open world at all? There's no guarantee yet on what we'll be seeing from the Duviri paradox, but every time I see something about the Void, and the Duviri paradox in general, I can't help but think that what if the Duviri paradox is one whole world, only meant to be explored by our operator? What if the Duviri paradox turns out to be an open world adventure for the space devils? It's plausible, given some of the things that we have seen Digital Extremes added into Warframe. Now, all the things I will say here though are not confirmed, so take all information you see and hear with a grain of salt. But please do think about it for a while, and you may also think that it's possible. Although I can't be so sure about the no Warframe open world, as this is the essence of the game, from what I have seen, I think Duviri paradox may be just made for operators. If not, then I would love it to be an open world only made for operators. Why I'm saying all of these? Well, there are hunches in bunches that made me believe this theory is possible. Number one is that we don't see any Warframe in the Duviri paradox trailers. We only see the plains of Duviri, Orokin horse, that Orokin worm, a new enemy, but we haven't seen a Warframe being operated by the operator. While this is a very weak proof for this argument, it gets supplemented by a couple of things, especially on the way that the first segment of the new war gameplay, we didn't use any Warframe in the first 3 segments of the new war update. Instead, we got to use a Grenier, a Corpus, and then Teshin to play something that we never expected of playing in a game wherein it involves Warframe as the vast majority of its gameplay. The developer has shown that they are capable of giving us a gameplay outside of using a Warframe, and although the new war update seems to be lackluster, as I think that some parts were cut on the full quest to make it shorter and brief, but still, it showed that this game is capable of doing something out of the box again, by letting us play a different faction other than just piloting our Warframe. So, what if the Duviri paradox is the main goal of the gameplay that we have seen during the first segment of the new war update? Another weak, but rather interesting attribute that leads me to think that an operator-only open world could be possible is that the developer is somehow trying to separate Warframe from our operator. Well, this is just my opinion, but there are cases in the game wherein certain areas are only accessible by the operator, and some specific things can only be done by the operator. I know it doesn't mean something to you, but please hear me out for a minute. So, there are instances that we can only access certain vendors using our operators, just like for operator-specific factions in the open-world hub of Fortuna, Cetis, and even in the Necrolisc in Deimos. There are also areas in the Chrysalith right now, wherein there are things that are seen only when you enter operator. Just take a look at your Dormy zone. There's a room wherein if you switch to your operator, you can spot 2 Orokin swords, which hints that it might be something about Teshin, or it could be the start to our path in the Duviri paradox. Can we revive Teshin though in Duviri paradox? I don't know how that will play out, but I'm assuming that Teshin will make a comeback on the Duviri paradox, or another Drax will take part in the quest to avenge Teshin's death with those swords. Also, I can't stop thinking of why Digital Extremes had to rework the Focus School the 3rd time, and it's right next to the Duviri paradox update. It seems to me that they are preparing the operator for something big this year, increasing the lethality of the operator amps, and making sure that operator can also survive on its own by buffing the shield and health, the arcanes used by the operator, and also adding the shield gating mechanic on the operator. It seems to me that we are preparing our operator right now for a long and dangerous journey ahead. I know it's just a weak lead, but still, I just can't help myself think that if Duviri Paradox is not an open world that is only meant for operator, then a big chunk of its mission and gameplay will be operator focus only. Another thing that has been bugging me is the fact that Digital Extremes register something in the name of Soulframe. In case you aren't aware, the developer trademarked a game called Soulframe, and many of us believe that this is some kind of a new game. I was hoping that Digital Extremes would shed some light about it during Summer Game Fest 2022, but I was kind of disappointed that the only thing they have showcased is the next update, which is Duviri Paradox. And it was just a short trailer, just like what they did with the Heart of Deimos update to hyped up TennoCon 2022, I guess. At first, I did believe that it might be a new game that they will reveal during TennoCon 2022, But, after some time thinking, it might also just be a rebranding of Warframe, since this game is turning into something else, and it's not focused on Warframe anymore. The moment Digital Extremes showed us that they are capable of gameplay beyond Warframes, that's the moment that Warframe changed, and it's not the game that OG players loved. Now, I did release a video talking that the Duviri paradox might be the end of Warframe. Many were pissed, because they thought it was not the end, and I can't blame the fanboys. But please, just listen to the whole thing before saying anything stupid in the comment section though. I said that because after Duviri paradox, there will be no turning back, as if they decided to step more in developing and adding different variants to the game, then Warframe is dead, and it will turn into a different game. This is why rebranding is inevitable, and judging from what we are seeing from the game, it is slowly turning into something that original Warframe players cannot comprehend. The core is there, the ninja gameplay is there, but the mechanics and features are now different, and they have added more stuff that sometimes players forget to understand what exactly Warframe is. The Duviri paradox might be the end of Warframe journey, but a start of a new chapter for those who love this game. There's also a chance that Soulframe has a connection to Duviri paradox, and the next open world will be the introduction to what's beyond Warframe. The game is still in beta, and they are constantly pumping content, and milking this IP to be truthful to you guys, as it seems to be a profitable business. Like many of the players said, the developer will not end Warframe, since it generates profit and all they need to do is to continue the live service model and pump content to milk this IP. We all know this, and it's hypocrisy to deny it, but still, we love the game that we have played for years, and we are still rooting for it despite the shitty updates that we have received in the past. Not all updates are a mess though, and some will argue that the updates you hate are the updates they love. However, we can't argue with the fact that Warframe is not Warframe anymore, as it's turning to be a different game. If it turns out that my theory about Duviri paradox is correct, or just partially correct, and most of the content that we will be experiencing during the big update this year will be the same aspect as the first few gameplay in the new war, allowing us to go in an adventure with our operator in the vast plains of Duviri, then Warframe will take another step out from its shell, and I think it's the right time for rebranding. Again, take all the things you have heard and see here with a grain of salt. I always want to do videos like this in the past, like some sort of video wherein I voice out my thoughts about a particular aspect of the game, and I want players to react to it. You only see me doing guides and farming videos in the past, but sometimes, I would love to do discussion videos also, and I thank you for those who have supported me. I'm having fun doing build and farming videos, but sometimes, I need to make those relaxing videos wherein I can share my thoughts and opinion with you guys. I don't care what others think, but I just want to say this out loud so you can understand why I'm making such videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.